Today I've got practical tips for you to cozy up your photography and create images that feel like a warm embrace. We are going to skip the technical details. There won't be any aperture and shutter speed talk here. Instead, we are going to talk about the psychology of styling and setting the scene. So no matter if you shoot with your phone or your camera, you will be able to capture those Hygge memories of your everyday life and family. Photos that radiate warmth, comfort, togetherness, and the little joy of everyday moments. I've got loads of tips for you that we are going to talk about. I neatly grouped them into 5 main categories. The first set of tips are all about lighting. You don't need fancy gear. Hygge is all about using what you already have and about how light makes people feel. When you think about Hygge, you're mostly thinking about cozying up indoors. That's not to say you can't have Hygge outdoors, and we will have tips for that as well. But mostly it's about indoors and capturing images indoors. So with relation to that, we need to talk about using natural light. The easiest thing is using the soft window light that comes through the windows at home. Position your subject near a window for soft diffused light. Curtains or sheer fabrics help to diffuse it even more. If you place a window behind your subject, you will get backlight, which will create a rim light around your subject. And if you place a subject beside the window, you will have side light to work with, which lights one part of your subject and creates shades on the other side of the face, for example. Soft window light feels gentle and natural, something that our brain associates with safety. It reduces harsh contrast and mirrors the kind of light that we experience in quiet mornings or evening moments, which is perfect for evoking Hygge. When it comes to artificial lighting at home, avoid this mistake. Stay away from cold white bulbs and swap them for warm toned ones. Table lamps, floor lamps, pendant lights can create pockets of coziness. And you can add atmosphere with small warm points of light, like candles, lanterns, or fairy lights to your scene. They create intimacy and visual sparkle. Stay away from bright overhead lights or cold daylight bulbs. They can flatten the mood and often feel more clinical. Warm tones literally makes us feel warmer. Fairy lights and candles, they are associated with celebration and togetherness, which trick the brain into relaxing and leaning in with comfort. If you are shooting outdoors, you best do that in the beginning, in the morning, or just before the sun goes down, and utilize those hours of sunlight. The time of the day and the weather will significantly change the color of the light in your photos. Green foliage on a cloudy day will retain its deep green color, whilst if it's a sunny day, it will move into more of the yellows and oranges and olive greens. Golden light is nostalgic. It triggers memory and emotion because it's fleeting. The day is beginning or ending, and those transitional times make us slow down. Once you've got your light cozy and inviting, the next step is making sure your colors are actually supporting that mood. Because if the tones are off, the photo won't feel as warm. A Hygge photo naturally reflects nature's palette. Stick with earthy tones like browns, beige, and greys. These echo wood, stone, and other natural materials that then shift your colors seasonally as well. You can use golden yellows, oranges, and greens for autumn, soft whites, creams, and candlelight glow during winter. Reflecting the seasons help us feel connected to time and place, which is a key part of the Hygge mindset. Just to get a little bit more technical about colors, you would like to follow the color wheels, and analogous color combination is one of your safest bet for a photo that reflects Hygge. So when I say analogous colors, these are colors that sit right next to each other on the color wheel, like yellow, orange, and red. These palettes are harmonious because our eyes don't have to work hard to process them. On the flip side, don't be afraid to play with subtle complementary contrast. These are colors that sit opposite to each other on the color wheel. And for example, this could work really well with oranges and blues. Think about a cold winter night, but the warmth of the fire keep us warm. When you create the contrast between cold and warm, the feeling that you get through your pictures is that hygge and warm feeling as well. But color is only half of the story. What really makes hygge come alive is the little things you touch and feel. So let's move into props and textures. The first step within this category is bring nature in, even if you shoot indoors. Think about wooden furniture, stone surfaces, wooden baskets, or even a simple clay mug instantly grounds a photo into earthy familiarity. You can add greenery, plants, branches, seasonal flowers, pine cones. You can easily create soft comfort by using blanket, knits, cushions and scarves, textures that invite you to settle in. When photographing your children, you can include their favorite teddy or blanket, which are not only adding texture to your pictures, but they also telling a story of security. When it comes to hygge, you want to add in the glow factor. You can use candles, fireplaces, fairy light, lanterns. This is an essential hygge element and it adds so much interest into your photo. It makes it feel intimate, it makes it feel relaxing and signals connection and togetherness. Now, there is another category of props and styling which I call the ephemeral details. These are, for example, steam rising from your tea, a half-read book, the crumbs of a half-eaten pie, or raindrops streak through the window. These small, imperfect touches give the sense that someone was just there enjoying the moment. And the same thing goes for outside as well. Weather elements like fog, rain can heighten the contrast between the cold outdoors and the warm, inviting indoors. These little details of textures and props are what give your photos depth and life. But how you compose them is what helps the viewers feel like they are right there at the scene with you. So my next category is storytelling, which is about capturing the narrative that make life feel warm and connected. Tip 1 in this category, capture connection. Look for those moments of togetherness, holding hands, a child snuggled against their pet, family gathered on a sofa. Psychologically, we are wired to seek belonging. Tip 2, photograph the everyday rituals. The simple routines that bring comfort, like your morning coffee, baking a bread, pouring a tea, or sharing a cake. These ordinary acts become extraordinary when seen through a hygge lens, because they highlight pleasure in the everyday. It's not every story have to be bold. Capture stillness, someone journaling, a child napping, a dog curled up in a sunbeam. These images show peace and introspection and bring calmness. Just remember, when photographing hygge, they don't have to be big staged photos, because hygge is found in the small, quiet rituals of life. Which brings us to composition, how to actually frame those details to radiate calm and intimacy. We are not limited to these only, but I'm going to share the 3 easiest one to evoke that hygge feeling. Whilst shooting from eye level is great for general portrait photography, when it comes to capturing hygge on your photos, it's worth experimenting and trying other point of view angles. For example, over the shoulder or across the table, or even looking down onto your subject. Photograph as if the viewer is in the scene, peeking through a doorway or sitting opposite to someone. This perspective creates presence and belonging, making the photo feel like less of an observer's shot but more like a shared memory. Next up for composition is using negative space, where you leave breathing room around your subject. A mug on a simple wooden table surrounded by empty space. Psychologically, negative space allows the eye to rest. Lastly, focus on details. Zoom in on those tactile moments. The steam rising from a mug, the knit of a blanket. These little details carry intimacy and make your photo feel personal. Try filling the frame with your subject, so the viewer is drawn straight into the cozy heart of the scene. So these are your starting points to bring hygge into your photography. I'm setting myself a challenge for the next 30 days. I'm aiming to capture hygge-inspired photos every day, sharing them on my Instagram. My aim is not to capture perfect photos, but I would like to challenge myself to photograph more often. I feel like I rely on a lot of editing in my photography, and I would like to practice it a lot more, practice shooting and taking pictures in the everyday. I would love for you to join me as well. Try some of these tips, capture your own hygge moments and tag me so I can see them. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe and come back next week, because I will be showing you some editing tips, some simple ways to elevate your Hygge pictures even further in Lightroom. Just little tricks that make them feel even more cozier. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in this video.